Hi, you guys, and thank you for joining the live. I am so excited to have the live going on. I know that, my goodness, it's making my forehead shiny, and it's making that too dark. Well, we'll just roll with it, as far as that's concerned. We're gonna give everybody a little bit of time to get into the live, and then we're gonna get started because I think this one is going to be very, very important. Get my thing come up. And I really thought about it when I was watching the news and kind of seeing things going on. And I was like, this would be a great conversation to have with you guys because maybe we're all kind of thinking it, but we haven't yet decided or know what to do. So this is going to be great. So we're going to give each other a few more minutes to get the notification and jump on into the live. And then we're going to get started. I'm really excited about tonight. I hope every excuse me, I hope everybody had a wonderful day and that we'll be able to go ahead on and have a meaningful conversation. I remember a while back I was doing the Monday night lives, and we were like talking about different topics that have to do with RVing and camping and things of that nature. So we're going to try to get back into that and then add some things to our goals. I hope you guys have started your journaling because we're going to be keeping track of those things. And I definitely have mine over there in the corner. All right. So one of the things I was watching the news and I was thinking, just like everybody else in America, watching these poor people like lose everything, like watching these fires and listening to how they think they all begin and how people are just kind of running for their lives. And it just gave me an idea. I can tell you a while back, our church had been talking about country living, and I was just a city girl. I just wasn't trying to hear that, and so I think that this is the time we do need to talk about things we need to be doing to get ready in 2025. Because as you can see, 2025 is not holding back any punches. It is definitely the year that has started off with a bang, and I think it's about time we start preparing for it accordingly. Hi, Margaret. Welcome. If you guys are here in the live, if you don't mind, just sending me a wave in the chat and giving this video a thumbs up. And we're going to get into our topic. So, as we're watching all this stuff unfold, a lot of people, when you think about RVing and camping, it's really hard for people to make that transition because of our stuff, because we have a lot of stuff, right? And you don't have to make that transition right away. So it doesn't have to be something that you say, okay, oh, that's it. We're moving into a camper, we're moving into a tent, or moving into a van, or whatever. But you can be prepared. And so this video is going to be talking about ways that we could be prepared for living off the grid if we needed to. And that's what I was thinking. So much destruction has taken place in all these different neighborhoods and all these things that people have lost everything. But if you can kind of prepare and start moving yourself to less populated areas, because that's what happened. It took out a whole city. It was a lot of people living in one small space, and it just wiped out a lot of stuff. So we're going to be talking about how to kind of prepare ourselves for what's to come, because I don't think for a second this is an isolated incident or the only incident we're going to be looking at this year. So it'll just be nice for us to get into the mindset of being prepared for whatever comes down the pike and then not let it catch us off guard. Okay. So I'm going to go and share my screen with you because I have something I definitely want to show you. And so one of the I've been looking at, as far as like I told you, we have been talking about having a boondocking campground. And so I wanted, you can't always afford to dig wells or have a well installed, but you can come with these collapsible rain barrels. Now, these things are great if you have a house, if you are planning on camping, or if you have an RV and you want to do some boondocking for a while, or you just want to kind of start getting yourself ready to get off the grid. These I love. They have them in different types. They can be 50 gallons. This one is 100-gallon. It's a collapsible barrel. You can get the filters where it'll filter the water. You can catch the rainwater or snow or whatever you need and kind of have your own water filtration system. and get something set up. Now you can get these from Amazon and they're not very expensive. They're actually worth the money that you're going to be saving or to be able to prep, right? I am not in any shape, fashion, or form saying that we need to be like doomsday preppers. I'm not going that extreme. I'm only saying that it would behoove us to start doing things that will help us be self-sufficient if we need to. All right. So, like I said before, I was just like you. I was in my house. I was comfortable. I wasn't interested in camping or sleeping on the ground or anything that had to do with the outdoors. But as I eased into the lifestyle and I started spending more and more time outside, I was able to kind of make that transition into a different type of lifestyle and that I really, really enjoy it. So we have these rain barrels that we can take a look at, and you can go on Amazon and look them up. If you want to start a garden, if you want to keep water on hand, this would be a great way to go. Now, the next one I want to show you is going to be the portable planter box. Now, you guys saw my video earlier of last season where we bought that planter box and we were growing some veggies have seeds in them. Tomatoes don't have any seeds in them. You're starting to see seeds, right? So you can't just take it out and use that to replant. So it might be an excellent idea to start gathering little seed packets of different foods, whether it's easy stuff to grow, whether it's like here we have beans, we have zucchini, we have tomatoes, lettuce, things that you can start doing that will become a little bit more self-sufficient. And with these planter boxes, they're easy to pick up and take to a different location. They don't require a whole lot of space. And you can also use some of that water in the collapsible rain barrel that we just looked at to kind of water your plants. Um, that is a great idea to just kind of think about that as well. Margaret, I agree 110%. So when you start going to the store, what I want you to do is start putting in your mind to grab little packets of seeds and start just putting it away because you never know when or how you may use them in the future. If this year is telling us anything, it's telling us that something big is happening. And we may not see the full picture, but it's still happening. And we can't just say, oh, poor California, because it's not just happening in California. You have icy roads, you have winter, you have people dying from it being too cold, and you have people dying from the fire being trapped in their houses. You have an earthquake that's happening in Japan and all these different things happening. Something is happening. The minds of people are snapping a little bit. So we have to be prepared and start thinking, what if I need to get out of the city? What if it's time for me to migrate out of the city and transition to a simpler way of life to where I'm not 100% completely dependent on the government or on the grocery stores and stuff like that, because that was one of the things that kept ringing out in my ear, right? Was that the grocery stores are gone, the schools are gone, the libraries are gone, all these things are gone, and people heavily depend on those things when they live in small communities like that, and especially when they live on top of each other, and you got new subdivisions popping up different places all over the place, and the houses are only a couple feet apart. So it's inevitable for things to take place. So now we have to start thinking, what if we need to spread out? What if you need to kind of get out of the way of those things kind of happening and taking place? And so I am coming on here and just giving you some ideas of things that I'm going to be implementing, that I am writing down, that things that I'm checking the list on, and I wanted to share with you because I'm thinking about it and I'm kind of seeing a handwriting on the wall. For some reason, I feel like this year is going to be the year that if you do not prepare, you're going to be sorry. Okay, I'm not preaching any kind of thing where it's telling you, oh, you need a bunker and all this kind. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just saying overnight these people lost everything, and they weren't prepared for that. And so I'm saying while we can get ahead of the eight ball, let's start doing things to kind of help prepare. right? Let's start thinking about that. I know everybody hates to talk about the end of the world and Jesus coming and all those things, but we have to, because those are things, events that are going to take place. And I have something at the end I want to share with you. Um, Angie says, hi, we definitely have a weird 2025 so far. Stay safe. Yes, it has definitely started off with a bang, starting from New Year's Eve, right? And it has not stopped. And we're just going into week 3. So if this is just week 3, then we cannot sit around and hope for the best. And so I want you to start when you're going into stores, even and seeds are so cheap, right? You can get a pack of seeds, just get them. You never know who you might be able to share them with, to help somebody else, to kind of help create a community, which is what we are really, really needing right now at this moment. The next thing I want to show you is something I myself am interested in having. And so they have these Jackary boxes, and the Jackary boxes, you can get it from 1000 watts. I don't know if you could see this with my picture in the way. I can't move it out of the way. So I'm sorry about that. They have the Jackary box, and they start off with 1000 watts, 2000. You give me 1 second. I can tell you how much that's going to be. And those $299. The 36 thousand watts is 1099. Now getting, because in a time of need, at least you can plug up your phone, you can plug in a house plug, you got a cigarette light plug, and each box something different, right? It has something different on it, a little bit more, and you can also use it with the solar panels. Hi there, Skylar. Um, the things you could do. Hi there, Hosey Travels. I said one of the things that you can do is charge your solar panels. These two things I found on Harbor Freight. So these are local stores. You don't have to get everything from Amazon. You can go into the store and talk to somebody. If Arizona, I know that they said that not too far from Phoenix, around in the Courtside area, there are some solar panel people who do it for really cheap. Good job. You can look into that and get it installed on your camper. But if you don't have a camper and you're tent camping or car camping, consider these solar panels. They come with a bag, they close up together, and then it can charge. So that kind of gives you a little bit of power if all the power is gone out. Okay, so you can still kind of function. The Jackary box, like I said, they come in 3 different sizes that I found, and that you can use that to kind of power a lot of things with that. And it is just great to have, because you just never know what's going to happen. It could be a power grid, it could be, and you can still be able to set up and have some power and electricity. Now, one of the things I want to tell you, when everybody thinks about solar panels, they think that one will power the whole house, and that's not necessarily true. When we had solar panels on our very first camper, it pretty much, if you can get direct sunlight and good direct sunlight, it kept the lights on, right? It charged the batteries that was enough to keep the lights going. And sometimes that's all you need, right? So if you're cooking outside, and that's another thing, make sure you have some dishes that you can use for when you're wanting to cook outside, that you're not that are good skillets and things like that, that you keep. So these are things that just kind of get it, put it to the side. You might not need it right away. Like I said, you're still in your house, but you can start accumulating things and putting it over to the side, just in case you'll need it when the time comes and you're ready to go, or you feel a need. Hey, maybe we need to start transitioning into a simpler lifestyle. You have those things, because trust me, when the bottom drops out, and it will, people are going to be making mad dashes, and it's going to be cleared out, and you won't be able to find these things. So while things are temporarily calm, and you can get in and get it for a little or nothing, now is the time to start collecting these types of things. So look into this, do some research, find some things. I'm going to drop the link to where I found these items below in the description. And so take heed to what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, I'm not trying to sound any alarm, scary bells. I'm only trying to bring awareness to what we're looking at. And if anything is a soundtrack to what this year is going to look like, it will not hurt us to be well prepared, because we never know what situations might take place. And, it's just good to be prepared. Now, this one I absolutely love, and I love to talk about it. And it is knowing where your BLM land is located. Not all of us can run to the campground. And what if you can't go to a campground? We're so used to just packing up and plugging in and having the comforts of home. But what if the situation is where you need to be somewhere out, away, or you need an emergency place to go? This is Hurricane Cliffs, and I picked this one specifically because I stayed there, and I can tell you, I could testify to that. I wish I was there now, to be honest, right? So, Hurricane Cliffs recreational area has 56 designated areas, and it's a first come, first serve basis. And so that's a lot of spaces, but if you have a lot of people trying to transition, that can fill up pretty quickly. They have some tent sites out there, they have some hiking trails out there, and the land is vast and it is pretty spread out. And this is what it looks like. I put a picture of it on there. Now, note, assess the land for potential water sources. So if you might have to end up being there for a little while, you want to make sure that it has good sunlight, because you're going to be using your solar panels. If there's any water sources nearby, some of these places, they don't have any um water, they don't have any wells or anything for you to fill up your tanks. So, but this particular space, this particular site, there is a Maverick gas station right at the foothill of this mountain where this is located. And they have a dumping station, and you can fill up with water. The only headache is going to be loading up everything to go down and dump and get water. But if you know your rig, or you have your jugs or whatever you're going to be filling up, or you have your rainwater thing that you can use to fill up your tank and then catch water, that you don't have to go down as much, right? But know your surroundings, kind of know where these places are, visit it. You don't have to have an RV to go visit the terrain, to see what it looks like, to see where it is, to see what the sites look like, to look at the potential soil. It even says look at the potential soil. If you had to drop a garden, what does the soil look like? So all these things are just things to keep in mind, and you can always go online to the whatever state you're in to and put in BLM land wherever, or what they commonly call it, dispersed land. You can put that in, and it will give you maps and coordinates. Now, plug here. I started our Discord. I've been posting in it. If you would like to have some coordinates to some of the boondocking places that I've stayed, and check it out, just because you want to camp there. This one was perfect because it was right outside of Zion National Park, right outside of it. It was probably about 20 minutes away, which is excellent because it was a beautiful drive, and it took you right through the little town that was at the foothill of the national park. So it was perfect, right? And so I will be dropping coordinates in there. I'm going to be dropping some other things in there. So please, please, please join our Discord. I will drop a link to that inside of the chat box. If you want to just click it and go ahead in there, I'm going to go ahead and get it now and drop it in there. And I would love, love, love to have you guys just add whatever you have to the Discord to kind of help us build our Discord and be able to share not only our dreams and things we've hoped to do, but also encourage people to share what they have as well with others, like coordinates, places they might want to go to, things they might want to see. They might say, hey, I'm thinking about going to this area, and you've been to that area, and so you might say, hey, okay, I've been there, so this might be a great place for you to go and visit. So I'm hoping that you guys will do that. Here's the Discord right here. Please join. And I've also been doing some behind the scene footage on my Patreon page. And so for just a little as $10 a month, you can support this channel, and we would love to have your support. So check out our Patreon page, and our Discord is free. So please feel free to join that. Okay. And so with this particular one, it is a beautiful place. The sunset is amazing, but it's still in the city. So it's in Hurricane, Utah, but technically it's like right around the corner from St. George. So this is good if you want to be kind of local but out. But as you know, Utah have plenty of places that you can go and visit and stay, and nobody will know you're out there. There's a lot of coordinates. So if you're watching this video and you're new to this channel, thank you for watching. I hope you will hit that notification bell as well as a thumbs up, and drop some coordinates of some places that you've been, or join our Discord and put it in there. And I'm going to create a thread. Make sure you put the coordinates so people can find that location. That would be a good place for them to start planning and looking ahead. Let's take a look at the chat. And it says right here, thank you, would love to live off the grid. I think it's a good idea. I live out in the sticks. It's expensive to live a life and live this lifestyle. It's expensive if you are trying to live at a certain level. I think that once you figure out what you can do without, and then focus on the things of necessity to you, whatever that is, then you can budget towards that way. Okay. So, yes, whenever you're talking about living off the grid, it is money that you're forking out up front. And if you're still living at home, that's not money you need to fork out all at once, right? You're still living in your house, and you're just, preparing for a camping trip, and you're looking at different things. I'm just saying it's good to have certain things, and only you can decide what the necessities are, to have certain things and to be thinking certain kinds of ways to just kind of be prepared. That's one of the things that came out of this tragedy in California, how people were so not prepared, how they were just caught off guard, and how they had to leave everything behind. Some people had to leave their pets, right? And it brings me to mind of the story of Noah. And Noah had 120 years he worked on that ark. And because he did it in advance and he prepared, his family was saved, right? He planted food that lasts. He made rooms in the ark. He had, the animals. God was with him in his planning. He was following God's instructions. I think we see a handwriting being done on the wall, and we have to follow God's instructions and start doing things that will put us in a position to where we can help somebody else, and the life you save might be your own, right? We can still say it's not going to happen to us. I can guarantee you those people did not think their neighborhood was going to burn down, but it did. And so now it puts us in the mindset of what do we need to be doing to be prepared, that if we had to leave, how would we function without having the comforts of home? And these are some of the things that you can put together, put to the side. And if you have to leave, you know exactly what to grab, you know exactly where to go, and you'll be able to function a little while until you can figure it out. Right? That's all we're doing here. We're just thinking, how can we function for a little while? Okay. So right now your homework is to try to find some BLM land, places that you can go, this dispersed land, checking it out. You just drive through it, take a look at it. We do that all the time. And I make number of different spots that I like. Like if I go to a campground, I'm like, man, spot 28 is it. Then you write that down. Just have a running tally in your mind of what's going to work for you. That's all I'm saying. All right. And so the next thing that is system. Now, if you have an RV or a camper that does not have have a big tank, this is great where you can dump. We bought one of these, and it has been a lifesaver since we've been here in Ohio. And so I see, the bigger you get, the more expensive it is. This is great if you live in your RV. If you're going to be traveling to a lot of remote places, it's worth the investment because you will use it. All right. But if that's not something you do and you're just a tent camper, then maybe the compost toilet might be a better way to go. Some people change out their toilet in their camper to a compost toilet, and then they just have two gray tanks instead of having, a gray tank and a black tank. That's a thing. People do it. But you can also think about that. Even if you are off the grid and you don't want to be able to have to leave and hook up or deal with this, you can get the compost toilet and use that as well, and do some research on that, because they get pretty pricey as well, depending on how fancy and what you want it to do, and so on and so forth. So think about your waste system. Okay, so no matter where you are, that's going to be an issue, and it's always good to kind of put that in your mind of what kind of system you don't mind dealing with, and as far as the cleanliness and whatnot. All right, this is the one we have. This is when we were new, and we didn't know that they make this same brand a lot smaller and a lot quieter. But this is what we got, and it was roughly $700-800, and it powers the house. It's not loud. It's not as quiet as the newer ones, but it's not loud. It won't keep your neighbors up, and it powers the house. Now, one of the things I want to tell you how we use ours, whenever we mainly use it at night, right? So during the day, you're usually out doing things, and the fridge can run propane or electric. So if you do that, then you could do propane to run your fridge, and then when you do the generator, you could put it on auto and it'll switch over to the electric. We usually just do this so we at night, if we want to entertain ourselves by watching TV or charge our phones and iPads and stuff like that, we turn it on and then we turn it off about 9 o'clock, because we're done with it, right? It takes gas, and you want to make sure that you keep the maintenance up on it, which is pretty much checking the oil, changing the oil, and just keeping gas. Keep you some gas cans. We usually put about $5 in there, and it runs quite a long time because we're not running it continuously. During the day, you have the daylight. The phones have charged overnight. We're out doing stuff, so we're not at home to where we just need to run it continuously. If it's summertime, you might need it, especially if you're out somewhere in the desert. So just think about where you're going to be. And that's another thing about visiting different BLM land and forestry land that has dispersed land as well. The forest, national forest, has a lot of dispersed land, but that land is a lot more covered because you got the trees. So you might want to think about that for summertime if you're looking at doing some dispersed camping. But I wanted to show you the generator because it's just good to have, period, if you can afford it. Like I said, they do make some cheaper ones, but they're very loud, and they make some super quiet ones, and they're very expensive. You do pay for this particular comfort. Thank you so much for the super chat, Hosey Travels. We really appreciate that. All the money goes to helping us. We've been trying to get out to Courtside. The longer you stay in a place, the more you spend. We're still crossing our fingers and hoping to be able to get there at least by the 18th to be there for the event. But I don't know. We're trying. So I hate it because I've been trying to get there for the last 3 years, and I just haven't made it. But anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. There's 11 people here. I would like it very much if you guys would introduce yourself in the chat or give us a thumbs up for this video if you found it helpful. Now, my last little clip here, my last little slide, it talks about extras. It's the extra stuff that you don't think about needing, and whenever you are just camping or thinking about making a preparedness kit. Having some basic tools is going to be the smartest thing you can do. All right. Cedric for Christmas bought me this little tiny tool set, and it's like 55 pieces, and I've been using that sucker. It's good to have that. Put it to the side. It's good to have an axe so you can get some wood. Wood is not always just laying on the ground. Sometimes you might have to work for it. So it's always good to have an axe, get you some wood. A compass. You never know when you might need a compass to kind of figure out where you are and where you're going. An emergency radio, especially if you're dealing with, like, they are the fires and you're in the forestry land somewhere and you need to know what's going on. Having yourself an emergency radio just makes sense. A knife. not as a weapon, but just to be able to do things, to be able to cut things. You might need to cut rope. You might need to cut, something off. Having a knife is always a good thing, a little pocket knife or whatever, and you can use it for, protecting yourself if you need to do that. But I wasn't saying that in that manner. I was just saying to just have it to be able, as a utility thing. First aid supplies. That is one thing we overlook. And soon as you don't have it, you need it. A first aid kit. Not one that you're still dipping into, one that you put to the side that has some alcohol, that has some peroxide, that has stomach medicine, stool softener, Pepto Bismol, ibuprofen, Advil, Aleve, back pain, everything. Guys, doesn't matter. Make yourself a first aid supply kit and make sure you stick some matches in there. Not all of us are cavemen. We can't all just rub some rocks together or some sticks together and make a fire. So make sure you have some matches in there, a good pack of it. Fire starter is always wonderful, kind of get the party started sooner than later. And an extra tent or tarp. Now, you say, well, I have a camper. Why do I need a tent? You never know who might need some help. You never know when you might have to leave your camper to evacuate, and you want to have some kind of shelter. Tents are on clearance right now. Get you one. Order one. 2-man, 3-man, 4-man. It's a shelter out of the rain, out of the element, and it's always good to have. And at least 2 tarps minimum is what you need. If you need one for the ground and one to stretch from tree to tree to kind of keep some kind of shelter, think about having some tarps as well as some ropes and some bungee cords. So these are just some little extra things that you can put in a Rubbermaid container and put over to the side and use it when you need to. I think we need to start thinking about these things, and instead of wishful thinking that these things don't affect us, because as we see, it can happen to anybody. You have, like, Margaret said, the snowstorm that happened in the South. A lot of people didn't have blankets, they didn't have warmth. So there's things to think about. Will we be able to cover all bases all the time? I'm not naive to that, but I'm thinking about the emergency things that if you had to leave your house today, what would you pick up? Where would you go? What would you need? Is it extra clothes, some jackets, some sweaters, some socks? What do you need? Put those things to the side. I'm a camper. So a lot of these things we acquire and we get and we have. But you need to make sure that you have these things if you're going to have to find yourself either moving into alternative living outside of your house. If you are thinking about RVing and you're a newbie, think of these things that you didn't think you might need. Get them. Put them somewhere. Put them in a Rubbermaid container and put it underneath the camper. You just never know. I would also like to add some mace and bear spray, something that you can do because you never know what you might meet out in the wild or what might come upon you. And you do need a way of kind of protecting yourself. So just make a list, sit down and at least entertain it. Think about it. Say, hey, we're going to go check out this. I'm going to go to the forestry, department and talk to the people there and kind of get some information on how you even stay there. Where do you go? Because they have these little posts that tell you where the spaces are, how to read that. Educate yourself and prepare. You might have to leave not because of a fire, not because of a flood, but maybe just because of something else. Maybe it's civil unrest. Who knows? But you need to have a plan. And that's what this video is about. It's about us thinking about having a plan, not being nervous, not being scared, but just being prepared. Okay. Skylar says, I gave mine when I came. Absolutely. I'm not quite sure what we're talking about. I must have missed something. Um, Thumbs up. Yes, please give us a thumbs up on this video. If you have anything else you'd like to add to this list of things that would be a good idea, drop it in our Discord. Okay, so we can start building a community and sharing information. And I want our Discord to be a place where we can post our prayer requests. If you need somebody to pray for you, post our dreams, things we're thinking about, things we'd like to do, places we'd like to go. Maybe somebody's been there. Maybe they could tell you what to go check out, what to go see. Maybe I did a video on it. I can post it. You can check it out. Coordinates, places to stay, things to do. I want that to be a wealth of information, and I cannot do that without you. So I'm going to post that in the description in this video below, but it's also in the chat, which will definitely be over for a replay. So if you're watching this later, you can check our chat, and it should be some information in there as well. Like I said, if you'd like to support this channel for $10 a month, you can go over to our Patreon and join up. I'm starting to post some behind the scenes stuff there. I'm going to be posting different things there, and it'll come with some more stuff as I keep adding to it. And I just really appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate the super chats from tonight. Thank you so much. That really helps and goes a long way. And I want to end with this quote that I read from an author that I read a lot from. And her name is Ellen G. White. And she wrote this quote back in 1884. And the quote, it comes from Calamities and God's Love, our only safety. It says, the daily record of disasters shows that there is no safety anywhere. Even in our homes, we are in danger for storms, floods, and fires are sweeping off thousands, while earthquakes are destroying additional thousands. If there was a time when we should be sober and watch unto pray, it is now. Our lives are safe only when we hide them with Christ Jesus. And only when we hide them with Christ and God. Sorry about that. We need every day to purify ourselves, even as He is pure. There is always hope for us in God. Faith is our defense, for it connects our human weakness with divine power. She wrote that in 1884 as if we can read this and it applies for us today as well, right? And so my whole thing, you guys, is saying we need to be prepared. I'm working on being prepared. Yes, I live in a camper, but it still have a lot to do to be prepared. We need to make sure that we are ready for whatever comes down the pike, and we have to stop letting things catch us off guard, living a life of thinking that it won't happen to us. Trust me, those people felt the same exact way. My heart bleeds for them as I watch them and the tears curl down their face. And you can't help but it pull on your heartstrings to see folks lose everything. Everything. And I said, today we need to talk about being prepared. There's no reason that all of us should be caught off guard. When those fires came, one of the things people were trying so hard to do was to take care of their stuff. They couldn't leave their house because their stuff was there. And I couldn't help but be reminded of the story of Lot. When he had angels come to him and say, you got to get out of here because we're going to destroy this place. And his wife, his children couldn't leave because they did not want to leave their stuff. And he lost 90% of his family. And I don't want to see any of us losing our family, losing our lives over stuff. I think it's more important that we just be prepared ahead of time and we see things as it's unfolding and we move smart and accordingly. And as Ellen White says, when we move in the will of the Lord, we have protection. So I hope you guys find this video helpful at least. And if you are thinking about camping, thinking about buying an RV, or you just been thinking about your own situation and you might live in a high fire area or flood area or whatever, and you're thinking, what can I do to protect myself? Just some ideas of things to kind of think of, like the collapsible rain barrel. You can take that anywhere you go. You can pop it up and pop it down, so it's very portable. The pottery pots, those are very portable, and you can grow food in different areas. The the waste system, that is great. So you don't have to worry about things like that. The seeds, make sure you get those. They're only like $1. You can find them, and you can start having some backup when you can't rely on other sources. I just want to help others as people have helped me, and I want to share whatever I've learned with you guys. And so I encourage you to join our Discord, and I encourage you to join our Patreon page, as we're going to be adding more and more stuff over there as well. Let me go in and read the our our chat. I don't want to miss anybody's comments. I was trying to get through the little presentation while we had a good number of people watching, and so I want to go in and say hello to everybody. Hello, Skylar. Thank you for coming to the live. Angie, I'm so glad you made it. Welcome, Bones. I know a lot of times you don't get a chance to make it, and I'm glad to see you guys are feeling better. Margaret, thank you so much for coming and showing up and getting the chat warmed up and participating. Doc's not here, but I'm sure she will let me know that she saw this later. Um, Verlene, welcome. Welcome. I'm so happy that you were able to join our live tonight. Jocelyn, I love you. I'm glad you're able to come and give a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Hosty Travels, thank you for your support and showing up and warming up the chat with your super chat. I really appreciate that, and I hope I got everybody's shout out. It was a really fun evening. I'm hoping that you guys took away something from this, and that it will help you in your day-to-day life and start thinking about different things, and probably getting yourself prepared as well. If you'd like to have more videos like this, please leave me a comment below. If there's something you think I forgot or I should add to the list, leave it in a comment below. Like I said, go over our Discord and get signed up. Join. We would love to have you. It's just a modern day chat room. We can kind of go and hang out and chit chat together. Aw, I bet you his little dog is missing him so much. I know my little noodle doodle, he thinks we're supposed to be together from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. So I totally get it. But I'm sure you're giving him enough love and support till his daddy comes home. But thank you so much for watching, you guys. Be praying for us. I really want to make it to courtside. I really, really do. And I can't do that without your help. I'm not going to lie to you. I was trying to, but if you would like to help us get there, you know where my information is. But other than that, I am excited that I made my goal this week. I had put in my journal that I was going to try to get a video out today, and I got one done. I put some other things in my journal. Voila! The room has been painted. So I got that off the list as well. I've been working on a personal goal of mine. I've been creating a few things, and I got 3 or 4 of those done. So I'm super excited about that. So in my journal, I am making some strides. I'm hopefully to be able to get one more video out at the end of this week, and I want it to be of somewhere. So I'm planning on that. So make sure you hit the notification bell. So when those come out, guess what? You'll be informed, and you'll know that that video has dropped. Like I said, we really would like to get to courtside by the 18th and just do some videos there. That would just be nice to be able to bring you guys some videos from our point of view as newbies to the area, because we have never been there for this particular month, and it would just be exciting to be able to have some new subscribers and grow our community. And I cannot wait to show you the tour of the house. I've been trying to hold off because I really want a couch and I really want to get things situated, but I think I'm gonna just go ahead on and do the walkthrough video. I got some curtains and all that kind of stuff, and I really just want to show it to you because it looks so homely and really cozy. And I've been promising you the walkthrough. So hopefully, maybe I'll do that this week. I'm not quite sure. But I really was trying to find a couch off Facebook Marketplace. That futon is fooey. It is uncomfortable, let me tell you. But anyway, I digress. All right, you guys, thank you so much for turning out for this live and watching it all the way through to the end. Thank you for leaving me a thumbs up. That really helps a lot. And thank you for all the comments. Don't forget to head on over to the Discord after this is over. The link is in the chat. Just hit it and go ahead on and sign in and sign up. And I will see you later this week because you never know what I might be doing next. Good night.